Spoilers, because, Hey everybody, super quick video here. It seems that everywhere you go, people are hyping up the new horror movie Weapons, calling it revolutionary, or one of the best horror movies of our time, or super flippin' awesome and cool and awesome and stuff. Well, I'm here to set the record straight. I'm here to tell it like it is. This movie you see here, this here movie, it has been glazed up from every which part of town, practically worshipped by audience members and critics alike. And now, I have finally gathered the courage to say my piece. I have mustered up the chutzpah to let you all know that, yeah, it's really good and stuff. Holy moly, this movie is fire, and I mean all of it. From beginning to end, this movie was nothing but a good time. I have not been this entertained by a horror movie since Jordan Peele's Nope, my second favorite horror movie of all time. Okay, kind of. I mean, if we're being exact, my number one spot is kind of a tie between all the VHS movies, except viral. But anyways, Weapons. God, where to start? What to discuss? I suppose I'll start with la characters. I don't know why I did that. I'm not gonna do that voice for the rest of... Anyway, Justine. She's pretty cool. Julia Garner does such a great job portraying the stress and trauma of being the victim of a literal witch hunt. I really appreciate that while she is one of the people who investigates the surroundings and tries to find the kids, she herself is also a deeply flawed character. Like, she literally follows a kid home from school just to make sure he's okay. Like... Lady, you can't just do that. And I guess she's like a homewrecker or whatever, but Paul did kind of mumble that he and his wife were sorta done, so I guess she technically didn't know. Whatever, it's a gray area. Paul himself was a strange situation to me. Like, don't get me wrong, he was a total piece of shit, yeah, but also I couldn't help but sorta root for him in a way. I don't know, it was probably just because Alden Ehrenreich's performance was absolutely spellbinding. Like, he did not have to lock in that hard, but by golly, he did. The rest of the characters were pretty okay, I guess. The principal was alright, nothing too out of the ordinary character-wise. Alex was your standard horror movie child, although I do enjoy that he defeats the villain by memorizing how to reenact her spell. The junkie guy was pretty funny, and that's about it. Josh Brolin's Archer was probably my favorite character, which is fair. He arguably had the most development, with stuff like him waking up in his son's bed and that whole dream sequence. The scene with him investigating which direction each kid ran in was definitely one of my favorite parts of the movie. It was really satisfying seeing him slowly realize that Justine was innocent and team up with her to face off against the big bad. Even though, like, did the two of them really do anything? Yeah, that's one of the few little problems I have with our main two leads, is that when you stop to think about it, did they really add that much to the final battle? Like, sure, they killed Paul and the junkie, which I suppose distracted Gladys and all, but I feel like Alex would have just done the spell anyway had they not shown up. Whatever, either way, it was still very investing seeing where the main characters would end up. Hell, at one point, I actually thought they were both gonna die. That's how good the tension was. Hey, speaking of tension, let's talk about that. God, I'm so good at segues. This movie is so good at making you uncomfortable, especially when it comes to its score and camera movements. There were multiple scenes, from Justine getting her hair cut while sleeping in her car, to the junkie guy breaking into the house and seeing all the creepy shenanigans going on, that made me feel so unnerved. It was also simultaneously full of scenes that were honestly really funny. The junkie's reaction to what he sees in the house was really goofy, as well as the part where Paul gets a needle in his hand and then just f***ing decks the junkie. I just found that so funny. And of course, we gotta talk about that final scene. Never before have I seen something so hilarious and so horrifying at the same time. It goes from, ha ha ha, those little kids are chasing that old lady, what a funny gag, to, Jesus Christ, they're tearing Gladys apart limb from limb, what in the 7 layers of hell? Very well done. Speaking of Gladys, as far as mysterious horror movie villains go, she was fine. I thought her overall power, or weapon, was cool and unique. I kind of wish it showed us what her overall plan was with all the children, but then again, maybe that would have taken a bit of the mystery out of it, so whatever. I will say Amy Madigan did a great job portraying this creepy old lady, especially during the aforementioned final scene. Her acting while being chased by the kids really gave me this sense of dread for some reason. Like, this is the bad guy of the horror movie. Someone who has literally kidnapped a bunch of children and kept them in her basement. And somehow I'm feeling bad for her when she's being taken down by her own weapon. But yeah, great acting all around. This movie was an amazing experience that needs to be seen in a movie theater. Nothing compares to hearing everyone in the room with you absolutely tweaking whenever something scary happens. If I had to take something bad from this movie, well, I thought the part in Archer's dream where he sees a giant floating AK-47 was just a little too goofy. Like, yeah, the movie's named Weapons and all that, but what is even happening there? I wish I had some footage of it because it really does look pretty silly. Plus, I think Gladys's power can be a little inconsistent at times. Like, if she needs all that stuff to take control of someone, then how did she take control of Archer so quickly during the climax? I'm not saying she couldn't have done it, because for all we know, she just took control over him with like a different spell or something, but I kinda wish we as the audience knew. Besides that though, this movie is a great ass time. Thank you, Zach Kreger, for giving us a uniquely scary movie that I quite enjoyed. I give your movie an 8.75 out of 10. And yeah, that's it. Like I said, super quick video. Don't worry, my next project is going to be a big one, so stay tuned. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go follow a little kid to their house, because apparently that's what you do when you worry about them. Bye!